Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at an aerial shot of Everson, Washington. And they are saying America is not ready for all of these flood disasters that are happening. Said the country is completely unprepared for this. And they are living proof of it. I was looking at an article that came out, Alaska got hit with some bad flooding, and they're saying that this flood that they recently had has wiped out a lot of their food supply. And now they're afraid they may be facing what they call food insecurity. When it's everybody else, it's called poverty. But, when it's other people, it's food insecurity, a lack of food. So, so they are very concerned about that. So let's get into this story. So Everson was hit with 5 feet of water that rushed into Main Street, and the currents were strong enough to push around a police Humvee and trap people in their vehicles. Floodwaters submerged City Hall. Sewage spilled into homes. Ugh, from backed up pipes. So Everson is the northwest corner of Washington State. And they said when the flooding happened, they were cut off literally from the outside, leaving locals in dozens of rescues, some using buckets as tractors to pick up people from roaring floodwaters. One man died in his vehicle that was washed off of Main Street into nearby Blueberry Field. Yeah, you know, this is what happens. And it's not unusual for people to get caught off guard when these storms move in. So 2 weeks later, another flood roared in, pipe bursting, freeze, and a blanket of snow followed so they flooded, and then they had this freezing weather come in. So pipes were bursting, and they got blanketed with snow, leaving residents to boil drinking water and make emergency repairs. Oh, wow. Wow. It just seems like when the disasters hit, they just keep coming and coming. And of course, people are saying a lot of what you hear nowadays, that this is the worst flood they have ever seen. The flooding has vexed Everson more than a century. So they said it's been a century since they've seen this kind of flooding. And of course, they go all into the climate change and, you know, um, and they're saying the stakes are high and threatening to wash parts of the community away, leaving some residents wondering if they can live in this area long term. So that makes Everson part of a slow churning crisis playing out in eastern Kentucky. So we know what happened in Kentucky over the summer in the suburbs of St. Louis and other towns across America. Historic rainfall associated with climate change is causing a dramatic rise in flooding and pushing communities to the brink. I agree with that. I don't think I've seen the amount of flooding in the previous years as I have seen in 2022. It is definitely biblical proportion flooding that's going on this year. So in Evanston, record breaking rainfall and soaring temperatures that melted alpine snow combined with the Nooksack River over its bank and into the town center. Canadian researchers estimated the probability of such powerful stream flows across the region in Washington and British Columbia was 120% to 330% more likely to cause uh, because of climate change. So in the future, researchers, they're claiming the floods are going to be even more damaging than what we're looking at. I guess I'm not too surprised. America's not prepared for anything. Okay, so NBC News spoke to dozens of residents of Everson and nearby communities, including many who questioned whether the town could withstand future floods and are demanding that the government take measures to reduce risk and impacts. I doubt if this government do too much of anything, to be honest with you. I doubt if they do too much of anything. So the floodwaters that cascaded through Everson has contributed to millions of dollars in insured damages in nearby British Columbia. Mm-mm-mm. Everson, a town of about 3,000, has five public works employees. Yeah, well, you got a town that little. And they said they have a fire engine. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. So when an emergency happening, you got to get people out. They probably can get around to people, but it's going to take a while because they just don't have a lot of supplies. Mm-mm-mm. So y'all, they said they have also experienced the atmospheric river storms that produce historic rainfall near Everson, that cause landslides and floodings in other areas in Washington state and in British Columbia. The storms are often called pineapple expresses in the Northwest because they draw moisture and warmth from the Pacific waters near Hawaii. On the weather radar, they look like fire hoses. Yeah, I've done videos on that. And when you see it on the radar, it looks absolutely crazy because you see all of this moisture in the air, you know? So, this is another town that has suffered multiple floods, and they said the floods recently have been historic, and we've been hearing that from every state that's been dealing with floods. And, they're saying they want to be prepared for the worst, but they are simply not prepared at all. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.